Hey guys, it's Amanda, and as you can see, I am not in my dorm anymore. I am at home in upstate New York. Yay! I hope you guys all had a great holiday season as well. It's the day after Christmas when I'm filming this, so yeah, I hope everyone's holidays are going well. But yeah, anyway, today I'm coming at you guys with a Q&A. I asked you guys to ask me some questions on Instagram. That's where I always do my Q&A things if you ever want to participate. Yeah, most of these questions are honestly about going to NYU and like being a film major there. So that's a big theme of this Q&A, just to warn you ahead of time. But yeah, let's just get into it. Okay, so the first question Tia asked, why can't I say this word asked? Okay, so the first question from Tia is, how do you balance work life and school, and do you ever have doubts about film school? So this is a really good question. So honestly, I think how I find balance between work life and school is that I truly just like listen to myself and listen to what I want, even if I know it's not the best thing, even if it means like procrastinating on an assignment because someone asked me to hang out, or because I just want to watch YouTube videos for copious amount of time. I will listen to myself. I don't force myself too hard to like do anything that I honestly don't want to, but I still feel like I just managed to get everything that needs to be done, if that makes sense. So I think my biggest advice when it comes to balancing all those things is listen to yourself, but still. And I think another thing that is helpful is just like on my notes in my phone, I like at all times always have a list of things that I need to do, and I have my phone at all times, of course, and so I'm kind of always constantly reminded of the things I need to do. So usually I don't forget, but I think my biggest piece of advice is listen to yourself. If you really don't feel like studying or writing an essay, like don't do it. Do it eventually, but you don't have to do it in the moment. It's usually not the end of the world, unless it's like an hour until your essay is due. But yeah, that's my biggest advice. And do I ever have doubts about film school? Yes, but honestly, last year I used to have way more doubts about film school. I feel like I don't have as many doubts about film school now because I've just become more confident in myself as a filmmaker and as a human being in general. And I've kind of realized that, like, you know, even though you go to this school and you're in this major, it doesn't necessarily define you, and it doesn't define your career path. And I think as long as you honestly just get a bachelor's degree, at least in the United States, I feel like you are on the right track in some aspects. You know, there's a lot of downsides, mainly in terms of the cost. But I feel like as long as you do have a bachelor's degree in something, you do still have like a wide array of job prospects. So that's kind of how I think about it. Sage asks, any changes to your goals after college with the degree you're getting? Honestly, it's kind of weird. When I came into film school, a lot of people come in and they're like, you know, I want to be a director. I want to be a cinematographer, I want to be a writer. I honestly didn't even come in with any of those types of things because like I barely knew what those jobs like entailed. And so like I feel like I didn't come in with a certain career goal or expectation per se, but now I think I do lean towards more of wanting a career in film. Damn, I feel like such a wishy-washy person sometimes. I'm like, basically, okay, here it is. I was like, the ideal, I would love to be a writer, I would love to be a director, but is that super realistic? You know, not necessarily. Like, just statistically, the chances of it are a lot harder than just doing any other entry-level type corporate job. So like ideally I would love to be a writer, I'd love to be a director, but even if that doesn't happen, I feel like there's a lot of other fields that you can like use creative skills and things that I've learned so far in film school, whether it's working in marketing or working at a creative agency or like being a brand strategist. I think all that type of stuff is also really interesting and creative. So the short answer to that question is, any changes to goals? I guess the short answer is like no, because I'm still really open to trying a lot of different things. So yeah. How do you feel about your degree path now as compared to starting it? As I said before, I'm definitely just a lot more confident in my degree path than when I started it. So the next question is plans after college. Honestly, just to start my career, whatever that looks like. I have no idea what that looks like right now, but yeah, just to start my career. I don't really see myself going to grad school, at least not right after college. So yeah. And also in terms of where I live, I have no idea where I'll live after college. I feel like I would actually still like to live in New York City, but I'm still like open to a lot of, you know, different possibilities. So yeah. Flo asked, what is the coolest thing you've done in film so far? I think the coolest thing, okay, so I think in terms of being in front of the camera, it would definitely have to be when I had the opportunity to go and shoot a Target ad. That was really fun. But also another really cool thing, last year I had the opportunity to go to, well, my film was selected and I actually won in my category at a film festival called Girls Impact the World Film Festival. It was in Austin, Texas, and I had the opportunity to travel there and attend that film festival. And that was like really the first time that was like the first like real film festival I've gone to. Like I've like kind of gone to like ones that are like a lot more smaller in scale, like kind of just, this was also a youth film festival, but it was just like a lot more production value, I guess you could say, than anything else I had been to. And it was just really cool to have my film screen in front of like an auditorium of all these people, and then have a lot of people come up to me after I screened and like tell them and like hear their feedback, and they're like, wow, this like really changed my perspective on this topic. So that, I think that was like the coolest thing, just like getting like really diverse people responding to my film and like showing their appreciation for it and like telling me that they'd learned something. That was like, I really enjoyed that. And like I feel like that honestly like inspired me. I was like, okay, like I can like make an impact on people through film. And I think that was just like a really kind of cool revelation to have, like to be able to have like a personal connection and a personal impact on someone through something that I created. Someone asked, why did you choose to go to NYU? I chose to go to NYU honestly mainly for two reasons. Location, I've always wanted to live in New York City. I mean, I'm from upstate New York, and I don't know, I just always have this infatuation with New York City, and honestly I love living there. It's, you know, it's not all Gossip Girl and roses, honestly, but I just really like being in the city. There's always a lot to do. It's just so convenient. I feel like, especially coming from suburbs, like it's so nice that I can kind of just like do whatever I want whenever I want, because like there's like basically like no limitations. Like you can kind of take the train anywhere, you can Uber anywhere, all usually at a relatively low cost. So yeah, I really love that aspect. And then also the other reason I came to NYU is just because I knew that it was a very good film program, and I was like, you know, if I'm gonna be a film major anywhere, it might as well be at like one of the best ones. So yeah, that's why I came here as well. But I will say, even though I came here just because like I knew the film program was really good, I still wish I had done more research beforehand. Like basically I didn't really do that much research on the school before coming here, in terms of a lot of different aspects. But I wish, like, even though I was like, oh, if I get into like the really good film school, then that means like I'm valid. Like, no, not necessarily, honestly. There's a lot of different paths to becoming a filmmaker. And also something else that I kind of realized is that, like, yes, NYU undergraduate film is a, you know, pretty renowned and ranked program on all these different lists, but I also realized that a lot of the like renownedness of the NYU film program actually comes from the graduate film program, which is very different from the undergraduate film program. A lot of people who go to the graduate film program, they're people who like had totally, like, they didn't come in as filmmakers. They like did a degree in something else, and they like worked and lived, and then they went to go to film school. And I kind of wish I like knew that in order to tell films with stories and interesting stories, it's like you kind of have to like live a little. Basically everything I make is, you know, it's from my personal experience, or it draws on that for the most part. And I'm only, well, I'm about to be 20, but I'm only have like 20 years of living on this earth. I've lived in the same place almost all my whole life. It's just weird because I'm like, well, like what kind of stories do I have to tell? Like I haven't interacted with too many crazily different people. You know, I lived in a kind of homogenous suburb. Basically the thing is, I feel like the more you live life, the more stories you have to tell. And I feel like I didn't really realize that. I think when you come into film school as an undergraduate, you kind of like learn how to tell stories, but I feel like they're not, in terms of the content of the stories, are they like gonna be the best content, or are they gonna even teach you to come up with really good content for your stories? Like not really, but I feel like if you go into a film school as a graduate, it's like you have this, I feel like you have like a world of experience, and like you have a lot of stories that you want to tell through film, so you have like really good content for your stories, and you also like learn the craft of it. So I feel like I wish I kind of like knew that differentiation more, and even just in terms of like other schools, not to just like discount a school just because it's like a state school, or it's just not as well known, even if they have a film major. I feel like I should have done more research, because this was really the only school I applied to as a film major. Everything else I actually did undecided. So I just really wish I did more research into film schools in general. And then, okay, the last question is, what made you get into film? Honestly, I think I was just, I don't even know. It's weird. I got like an iPod in 6th grade, and then I was like obsessed with editing on iMovie. And also like when we got like a Mac computer, I was obsessed with like editing on iMovie. I feel like that's how a lot of people start off. But yeah, honestly, like I don't have like a really deep or artsy reason for getting into film. Also, another reason what made me get into film is that like when I was like in senior year, when I was just like thinking about all of the classes I took in high school, I was like, English, math, science, chemistry, like whatever. Basically like all the classes, I was like, I feel like I'm not interested in any of these enough to like pursue it in college. I was basically like, okay, my major has to be something that is not one of the subjects I've taken in high school, because like I feel like I'm not interested in them enough to go on and study them more. So I looked at things like that I actually didn't take in high school. I was like, oh, maybe like economics, philosophy, film, which I eventually ended up choosing, or business. Like honestly, I was like only looking at majors that like of things that I hadn't taken in high school, because I was like, stuff I've taken in high school I'm not that interested in it. So yeah, but yeah, I feel like I've gotten into it even more as I've like been in film school, of course, and just like learned about different films, different filmmaking techniques, and all that stuff. So yeah, but yeah, this is basically my Q&A video. I hope that you guys learned a little bit more about me as a film major, as a college student, and I hope to make a lot more videos, especially this upcoming break. I have nothing to do in January, so yeah, excited for this break, excited to make more videos, and I'll talk to you guys in my next one. Bye.